Hey guys, I'm going to put this clip in front of the beginning of the actual video because after I filmed that and did the demo, everything, I actually went back in to do a fresh set of swatches to compare Mecurial against Honeymoon. I'm going to show you the swatches. These 4 shades here is from Mecurial, and then these bottom 4 is from Honeymoon, and you can see these 2 shades are extremely similar. There are subtle differences between the two, and while I'm looking at them now I can still see it. This one is a bit more red than this one here from Honeymoon, and the deep shade, I feel like this one is more purpley, but it's pretty subtle. It almost seems like your eyes might be playing tricks on you, and at that point it's like, okay, they're just very, very similar. So what stands out for me on this new quad, Mecurial, is the formula. You'll see in the video where I do swatches like this and also with the formula wet. The wet version of it, it's extremely easy to work with, but you'll see, it just glides on the skin, and I think it's very beautiful. It's foil-like, so the intensity is very satisfying. But I just wanted to point out that I do find the 2 deeper shades from Honeymoon and Mecurial to be very, very similar. So if you have Honeymoon and you skip Mecurial, that's totally understandable because of how similar they are. But if you don't have Honeymoon and you're trying to decide between the 2, I'm leaning towards Mecurial because of how the wetting the formulas and the really cool effect you get and how easy it is to work with. So there you go. I just wanted to add that bit. Let's head on to the rest of the video. Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at a new Tom Ford quad, and this is Mecurial. Mecurial is his Extreme Eye Quad formula. These shadows can be used wet or dry. Now, from looking at the quad like this, the color story seems quite similar to another Tom Ford quad, and that is going to be Honeymoon. I just happen to have Honeymoon, so we'll be doing some swatches of the quad Mecurial against Honeymoon. A bit more about the product. The net weight, or the amount of product you get, is the same as all his other quads, so it is 6 grams or 0.21 ounces, and the product is made in Italy. All right, let's move on to the swatches. This is what the shadows look like on my finger. They feel very velvety and soft to the touch. It actually feels kind of nice to swatch them. So what we have here is first the champagne shade, the lightest of the 4, and then next we have a slightly deeper shimmer shade that has like a brown and pink undertone. Then we have the pink or red shade, and then finally the burgundy color. So they all have this kind of satin shimmer finish to them. I would say with the shimmer and sparkles, there is more in the lighter shades compared to the deeper ones. And so this is Honeymoon right here next to Mecurial. Fairly similar, except for maybe the 2 top shades. Let's do some swatches right next to Mecurial, and we'll see how similar they actually are. This is what the shades look like on my fingers. We'll start with the lightest shade, which I'll put on top here. Definitely warmer from Honeymoon, and then next we have this bronzy shade, which I'll put here. Much deeper than the light shade found in Mecurial, which is this one. And then we have this kind of, again, pink and purple shade. And then finally the deepest shade on Honeymoon. Overall, I would say Honeymoon is warmer. The color story and the undertones are warmer, and they lean towards purple brown, versus the ones from Mecurial are lighter overall or cooler toned, and this has more red in it, and this I would say has more brown. I also want to swatch each of the shades on Mecurial as if it's a wet application so we can see the intensity. And in my demo, you will also be able to see for one of the shades where I apply wet. This is what the shades look like after I basically wet my fingers and put them into the pan. And you can see the difference here between intensity . I would say applying the shadows wet, you can definitely see the intensity difference. And it really just glides on the skin. Like, I felt like it was very smooth to swatch, and it just clean took off most of the product off of my fingers. It does speak to the quality of the formula, of how easy they are to work with. If you want a light application, use them dry, and if you want more intensity, I would imagine a lot of us are drawn to this, definitely use them wet. Let's head on to the tutorial. I will see you guys at the end. I'm going to go into this shade here, and I'm placing that all over the lids. And before we move on here, I do want to say that this could potentially be also a one and done shadow. If I come a little bit closer, you can see there is noticeable pigmentation, and it's this kind of like beautiful soft nude color that gives you a bit of definition on your eyes, which I think is really pretty. So that's actually a nice bonus from trying the shade. And then next, I'm going to place this onto the center of the lid. This red and pink shade a little bit here. Then we're going to go into this deep burgundy, and we're adding that to the outer corners. And we'll buff this out, diffuse it a bit, since it went on a little bit more concentrated than I was expecting. Then we're going to add this champagne shade to this area here, and we're going to brighten up the inner corners while we're at it. So this is what the shadows look like. I've used them all dry, and I'm very curious on how much intensity or amplification we can get if we wet some of these shades and then applied them. So I'll come back, and we're actually going to use this shade wet, and I just want to see what we would get out of that. So I've applied some water to my pinky, and I'm just going to take a corner, or dip it into the corner here. That's what I get. It definitely does intensify. So there it is, applied wet. Yeah, I like this effect more. I think it really makes this shade stand out. I'll put on concealer and foundation, then we'll come back afterwards. For under the eyes, I want to keep it nice and light today, so we're just going to dip it into this shade here and apply some of that pretty liberally, generously. We're applying this champagne shade to the inner corners. For blush, I'm going to take Suku's Powder Blush Palette. This is 102, and we're going to use this shade today. For highlight, I'm going to go back into this shade here, and we're going to try to see how it looks on the cheeks. I think this is a beautiful formula, and I think you can use it on various areas of your face. For lips, we're going to go with Hermes's Rose Nuit. And I know this is a matte formula for the Hermes lipsticks, but I just got the Tower 28 lip jellies and I love them. So I am finding a reason to use another shade of the minis that I got, and this is in the shade Fearless, but they printed the number right on it, so it's kind of hard to see. I'll have to do some research, and if it's not Fearless, you'll see a comment right here or on this side correcting that. This is the finished look. I am liking how this look turned out. It's beautiful, and I like the option of being able to intensify it just by using the formulas wet. I do think this quad is representative of many great things about Tom Ford's quads. It's easy to work with, very effortless. The formulas are beautiful, the color stories are very beautiful, they're complementary. If I had to pick between Mecurial or Honeymoon, it would be a tough choice, because when I look at these two shades at the bottom here, I just think they're so similar. So as long as I like those two shades, I'm gonna like the quad, and that is true. You know, if you are drawn to the deeper shades, it doesn't really matter which one you pick here, but I am very impressed with just how easy this formula is to work with wet, and it just glides on your skin, like comes right off of the finger. So that really impressed me. I would say go with the one your heart desires. If it makes or helps in any way, the packaging or the quad itself is a different color. This is in the burgundy, and this is like basically a mirror. It's silver but reflective, and so you can see all the fingerprints on it. I don't know if that bothers you. Just for comparison, this is the Soleil Neige, so this is the holiday collection, and this is in white. Conceals the fingerprints much better than the other two, although this one's just not that obvious. It does come with a velour pouch, all of the quads do, and the color of the pouch matches the quad itself. So with Soleil Neige, it has a white velour pouch, and then for Honeymoon, this is the pouch, and for Extreme Eye Quads, this is the pouch. Now, you can wipe off your fingerprints very easily, so that pouch is very handy for that. I just don't know if you feel like if you wanted your packaging in pristine condition, this might kind of drive you crazy. I don't know. Maybe you don't care, and that's okay. So this is all I have for you on Tom Ford's new quad. Let me know below if you have plans on picking this up or what your thoughts are. I did get 15% off because I picked this up during the Sephora VIP sales event, so if you're considering it, definitely take advantage of that. And if you are not a member at Sephora, you can become one for free, and that would give you insider status, in which you can get 10%. And I believe for insiders, the event began today, and you have until November 9th to get anything you like and get a 10% discount off of your order. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.